What's up, guys? So this video is just about my sister, Sydney Charisse. And this is just me, her bigger brother, remembering her and giving her her flowers. Her heavenly flowers. Syd, it was her birthday this past week, September 5th. She's 31. Big 30s. Welcome to the club, sis. Syd, where do I begin? Let's talk about our childhood. Syd and I, there's 3 siblings in my family. There's me, the big brother. There's Syd, the middle kid. And then there's Alyssa, the baby girl. So Syd pops into my life when I was about 4. And she immediately attached herself to me like a shadow. Like everywhere I went, she was right next to me. And as a kid, it's kind of annoying, you know? You're like, ugh, get away from me. But you also enjoy having a playmate. Somebody you can go outside and play with, somebody you can play video games with, somebody you can use your imagination with and just play, be a kid, have dinner together, go out, go to the mall, hang out with Nana and Papa, go ride our bikes, experience our first bike crashes together and, you know, getting scabs on our knees and shoulders and eating PB&Js and Doritos and SpaghettiOs that Nana made for us. Watching Arthur and Sesame Street and Syd she was just the sweetest kid. And at the, you know, she was misunderstood by a lot of people, I think, because she just didn't really care what you thought. And I fought with this for so long because I just didn't understand it. Like, she really didn't care. She didn't give 2 shits what you thought about her. And that is something that you're born with, right? Sometimes you have to develop that over time. But right out the gate, dude, right out the womb, she didn't give a fuck about anything. And excuse my language for the people who are watching this, but we're all grown-ups here. Get used to the world that we live in. But yeah, she didn't care, and she had the sweetest heart, especially with animals. She had a really special bond and connection with all the animals that came her way, that she interacted with. Our huskies that we grew up with, we had 3 at one time. And it was our duties as kids, because we were the ones that wanted the dogs in the first place, so we had to take care of them. That's what our parents, that was the duty. That was the deal. And she she was the one. I did it, right? I knew I had to do it. It was more of a chore, and I played with the dogs. But she was really like living that life. She was a part of the wolf pack. She was Cuba Gooding Jr. in Snow Dogs. If y'all seen that movie, get that reference. She even worked at the zoo for a short time. I mean, I attribute that to my mom, because she's always loved animals, and she'd always take us to the zoo as kids. So I think we inherited that special nature. But Syd, she was a tomboy too. Bees everywhere. She's a tomboy too. She played rough. And who taught her? We were playmates. She was the only playmate I had until Alyssa came. And by then, we were in different stages in life, and we kind of graduated from playing, and now we're in high school and middle school, and now Syd gets to be the big sister, right? I'm still the big brother, but, you know, it's a shift. But we'd play, and she would dress the way she dressed. It was her own style, right? She'd wear a lot of my clothes, a lot of my hand-me-downs, clothes I didn't want anymore, or maybe it's just stuff that I wore, and she's like, I want that too. She's big into sports, you know, like Oklahoma State, shout out to the Cowboys. She liked them. She liked video games, movies. I remember, here's a memory. I remember it was my birthday. I think it was my 12th birthday. 11th maybe? 11th or 12th birthday. We were living in upstate New York. And I invited a handful of friends over from school. And of course, Syd's there too. And I think that Alyssa had probably just been born. She was a baby at the time. And so I have my friends over. It's a sleepover, right? She's there hanging out, and we're watching the movie Signs. Classic thriller, if you want to call it that, with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. And that was scary back then. Like, you know, for a kid that wasn't even allowed to watch scary movies back then, we got Signs. Oh, whew. So I remember we went to the basement, Syd and I, because we had to go get some sleeping bags for me and the boys. And, you know, I didn't want her there. I was a kid. I was like, man, it's my birthday, but she's my shadow. She was always there. So she went and helped me. And we're in the basement. You know, basements are like dark and kind of creepy and scary. Not all of them, but ours was. You know, that light that hangs on a string that you gotta pull the light to turn it on and off. And that's the only light down there. And then you got a long way of steps to go up. Yeah, that was our basement. So we got the sleeping bags. And I remember looking back, right? I'm like, and she's still back there toying around with stuff. I'm like, now's the time. So I just bolt right to the stairs, turn off the light, run upstairs, slam the door shut. All I hear is, no, don't do that, no, Derek, no. Screaming, crying, right? Traumatized. I was laughing my butt off, right? I thought it was hilarious, but she's like legit scared. And that was a core memory for both of us. And of course, it's stuff you can look back and laugh on it, but it was just like the last time I saw Syd. I went to go visit her. She was living in her little duplex, a little 2-bedroom duplex in OKC, Shadow Lake. And she had the doggies with her. And that's one of the things we did. We just kind of went down memory lane. I came there for a weekend. I was off of work. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go see my sis. I haven't seen her. She's living alone. I want to go see her. I miss her. And we just kind of did nostalgic stuff. We just went to all the restaurants that we went to back in the day as kids, like Cracker Barrel. Shout out to Cracker Barrel. Not a fan of the new logo. I'm glad you made the choice to switch it back. But, you know, just we went to the movies. We saw The Batman when it came out with Robert Pattinson. And we hung out with my best friend. And we're just talking about life as adults and how things are. And one of the things we did was watch Signs again. And it was just as nostalgic and real as when we were kids. And we're just laughing and giggling and cracking up. And she really wanted to do that. She had it ready. She still had a DVD player. She had a whole booklet full of DVDs in the sleeves. Like, she didn't watch Netflix or anything. She was old school. And I love that about her. That's like a time capsule just there. Like a time that was. And she still had everything. And literally right in the living room, we're sitting there. I think we had just gotten done eating somewhere, and we came back, and she was like, you know what? You want to watch a movie? I said, yeah. What do you got? Sitting there right on the table. Signs. I said, okay, we're going to do that again. Well, maybe we should go to the basement first. But I'm so glad I made that trip. I'm so glad I made that trip. We're all spread apart at the time. You know, the family, some of us, we all live in separate states for different reasons. And it's like, we get so busy with our own lives and what we're doing, right? And the stresses and the hustle and bustle, and you get so fixated on it, and you don't even take the time to, you know, really check in on your loved ones and see how they're doing. You don't know what they're going through. They're fighting hidden battles, unknown battles that you have no clue about. And all it takes is for you to just tap in and really just care. It doesn't take that long. And I'm so grateful that I was able to see her just one last time. Just see her for who she was and the beautiful woman that she became. She's an angel. And I realized this years later. Everyone plays a purpose in your life. They're either a lesson or a blessing, right? Or it could be both. She was the biggest blessing in everyone's lives that she touched. Animal, human alike. She had over 200 people come to her funeral. People from work, people from church, people from school, random people, family. Everyone loved her. And they still do. And it was such a beautiful thing to see. As sad as I was at the time. And she was an angel. She is an angel. Some people are angels in your lives, and you don't even know until later on when they're gone. I mean, just think about it. She had unconditional love for everyone, right? She had her boundaries, and she put them down. She laid them down. No doubt about that. But she touched everyone. The joy that she brought to people's lives. The smiles, the laughter, the goofiness, the playfulness. The children that she babysat, who get to grow up now and become young men and women that had a positive role model in their lives. So, Syd, this is your big brother. Just saying thank you. And I miss you. And I'm with you every day. And I know life is so good for you right now. And I'm just glad that you were part of my life. But yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to give a little shout out to my sis. A little happy late birthday. It was September 5th, 1994. And she was born in Normal, Illinois. And Syd the Kid, love you.